Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all our esteemed speakers and our attendees. Aviation and maritime sectors are the twin engines of global trade, driving economies, connectivities, and innovation. But as investment landscape evolve, how can foreign direct investment shape the future of these industries? What legal framework, challenges, and emerging trends must be navigated to unlock their full potential? These are the key questions we aim to explore in today's webinar on Unlocking Global Opportunities FDI in Aviation and Maritime, jointly organized by With Law and Quadrant Legal. Let's embark on the insightful discussion as we uncover the strategic role of FDI in transforming aviation and maritime industries worldwide. With Law, a full service law firm at the forefront of legal innovation, excelling in dispute resolution, finance, energy, and emerging technologies like AI and blockchain, and with the contribution to global framework by organizations like UNESCO, With Law remains committed to shaping the future of legal and financial ecosystem. Quadrant Legal, the co-organizing this webinar, is a modern law firm blending India's rich legal heritage with global best practices. Known for its deep expertise in admiralty and maritime law, ship financing, and maritime arbitration, Quadrant Legal has been instrumental in providing cutting-edge legal solutions in this space. A heartful thank you to all our attendees for joining us today. Your participation is invaluable, and we encourage you to actively engage and ask questions and contribute to these insightful discussions. We would also like to inform you that certificate of attendance will be issued to the registered participant who stay for at least 30 minutes, and that will be at the management's discretion. These certificates will be accessible until 20th of February 2025. We extend our sincere gratitude to Aviation Council of Women Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries for their unwavering support in making this webinar possible. Their commitment to fostering global business opportunities is truly commendable. A very special thank you to India Shipping News, a go-to online portal delivering the fastest and the most relevant news on shipping, logistics, maritime, trade, and many more. With its cutting-edge updates and easy access on all the devices, India Shipping News provides authentic, timely, and essential information to its wide audience. Introducing to our esteemed panel, our first speaker is Captain Pankaj Kapoor, Managing Partner of Quadrant Legal. Is a former master mariner turned maritime lawyer. His contribution to India's national maritime policy and holds advisory roles with Ministry of Finance, Shipping and Petroleum. He is an independent director, board advisor of GIMAC, and an adjunct professor of maritime law. Today, he will discuss the legal landscape and opportunities within the maritime industry. Our next speaker, Mr. Swar Kansagra, co-founder of With Law, is a distinguished lawyer specializing in global policy, regulation, development, and international compliances. He is actively shaping global policies to address emerging challenges, aligning them with industry's best practices. Today, he will provide insights into the aviation sectors. Today's session will cover key aspects of FDI in aviation and maritime, including legal insight challenges and the future trends. Our speakers will share their perspective, followed by an engaging Q&A session where you will have an opportunity to ask all your doubts. I encourage everyone to participate and share your thoughts. Without further delay, let's begin our discussion. And now let's sail into the world of maritime investment. And I'm thrilled to welcome Captain Pankaj Kapoor, who will navigate us through the impact of FDI on the maritime sectors and the exciting opportunities ahead. Over to you, Captain Pankaj.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all those who have taken time out of their weekend to be a part of this webinar today. Well, thank you very much. Madam, can we please have the slides if possible?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Next one, please.
Give me a moment.
Absolutely. This is the There are advantages and disadvantages of having these online programs, They bring everyone together on the same platform at the same time. There is like some glitches which we all must be prepared for.
But that's how technology works. We need to adapt it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, great. Thank you. So, I must thank the moderator, Madam Saloni, because she said that we should now sail through the webinar. And that is the term which is very close to my heart. I spent close to 35 years in sailing and now a maritime lawyer, but a very apt term used by Madam Saloni. So let me once again invite everybody to sail through this webinar. Now, before we actually delve into the or go into the in-depths of FDI, allow me to bring to everybody's attention that 90% of the world trade by volume is by ships. That means everything which we have, the laptop which we use, the cars which we drive, the petrol which we fill up in our cars, all that comes by ships. A single ship which stopped or rather got stuck in the Suez Canal called Ever Given actually shook up the entire logistics and supply chain industry worldwide. There was an estimated loss of nearly $10 billion per day. That was the loss. The shipping, in fact, is very important. Every country which you see has progressed in past few years has had two very strong points. One of them, a very successful agriculture, and the second one was a very successful shipping. And because of shipping, if any country wishes to grow, shipping is very important. And shipping is considered as the first global industry in the world. It is something which has always reached people, has always brought people together. A very funny incident, somebody asked me once, what uh, what is the closest sea boundary we have, or neighbor do we have? Now, one could say that the sea neighbor would be Bangladesh. He said, no, you can even call Brazil as your neighbor. We are both attached by a common sea. So this is the advantage and the importance of sea. And now everybody who wishes to be a part of this has also to realize that shipping being an international one is also open to foreign direct investments, FDIs. And the importance and the growth which we see in the foreign direct investments are towards the 4 points which you see at the bottom of the slide. These are people are now switching over to LNG powered vessels or ships which are powered by hydrogen or ammonia fueled. Recently, our Prime Minister, who was in France, also made a statement that India is going to develop nuclear power. And if that happens, nuclear, we already have nuclear powered ships, but if that happens in the merchant ships, we will have merchant ships with nuclear power. And that is something which we have not heard of, but the country is experimenting on having nuclear powered ships. So that is another option, or electrification. All these actually are alternative fuels which are being encouraged by an organization which actually handles or rather provides guidelines to the shipping, to the world shipping, which is called International Maritime Organization. It is a part of UNO, United Nations. So in order to reduce the greenhouse gases, or in order to reduce the emissions from the ship, we plan to have a net zero emissions in shipping by 2050. And shipping is contributing towards that. But just for your information, out of the total emissions which we have worldwide, shipping is only contributing just approximately 2.7%. So very little, but yes, despite of this, shipping is going ahead and aiming for a net zero emissions by 2050. So can we go to the next slide, please? As regards the foreign direct investment, we are based out of India, so we are going to focus mostly on India, but the global trends We are heading towards autonomous ships. Autonomous means that most of the ships would, in a very short time, be either semi-automatic or fully automatic. That means semi-automatic means most of the engines on most of the machinery on the ship will be automatic, but we will have people, the crew on board, just to ensure that the autonomous part of it keeps working. There are also plans to have a fully automatic ship. There has been an experiment where a fully automatic ship has crossed the entire Atlantic Ocean, and it was operated by people sitting in Europe. So all that is in plan, and very soon we are going to have either semi or fully automatic ships. Another thing which is very fastly coming into shipping is blockchain. Now, what is blockchain? Everybody here understands. Uh, Shipping is, like I said, is an international business. It's a global business, and hence all the banks, the documentary credit systems, the payment modules should all be now electronic, and that is changing. Something is called as electronic bills of lading, which will very soon be under the blockchain technology. They are under a system called MLETR. That means electronically transmitted documents. So two countries worldwide, that is Singapore and UK, have already passed that law. India is in the second or third stage of passing that law. And once that happens, India also will be having shipping fully on the blockchain technology. The third one, which we have here, is IoT-enabled fleet management, which is already started. Whatever happens on the ship, every single machinery on the ship can be monitored, can be tracked by sitting ashore on your mobiles. That is already happening. Then digital ports, automatic cranes. Just for the information of everyone here, there is a port in China, Shanghai, which handles massive, huge amount of containers, and not a single human being, not a single soul is visible in that port. Everything is clockwork, automatic. So that is what is going to happen in just a few years' time, and all that is going to will require foreign direct investments, would require FDIs, would require people to come in and invest in these projects. Next slide, please. We'll break down the shipping and the associated industries into different sectors. As you can see from the title, ports and harbors. As per Indian laws, right now, 100% FDI is allowed through the automatic route for port developments. Now, what are the activities which we may feel come under port development? Leasing of port, establishment of captive jetties. A lot of multinationals, they have jetties, the terminals specifically for their ships and their cargoes. So that is establishment of captive jetties, development of port terminals, dredging and maintenance. Development, there is a huge development under the Sagarmala scheme. We have multiple new ports coming up all across the Indian coastline, and the government plans to connect all of them by under a scheme called the Sagarmala. The next slide, please. Yes. Now, for shipping and inland waterways, once again, the government has opened up 100% FDI. It is permitted for inland waterways. This is the next big thing which the government is aiming for. They want to connect the river Ganges along with different different cities, which will assist in transporting of goods from one particular state to another state. Just we must, at this stage, it would be pertinent for me to point out that shipping is the lowest polluting industry. If you transport goods by rail or you transport goods by road, shipping is the lowest polluting industry. It pollutes less than 75% of the pollution which is caused by other modes of transport. And this is what the government is aiming for by developing inland waterways. So the activities under that is construction and maintenance of inland waterways, ownership. If anybody wishes to come in with FDI, these are the routes available for that person to invest in inland waterways. The next one, please. Next slide. 100% FDI is also available under the automatic route for building shipyards, repair and maintenance of the vessels. Our shipping minister was recently had gone to South Korea and had gone to Japan, inviting them to develop shipbuilding clusters across the Indian coast. And if that thing materializes, I think some MOUs have already been signed. And the moment that is materialized, India would soon be on the shipbuilding horizon as one of the dominant players. There is already a couple of shipyards and ship construction sites which are operational on the Indian coast, and they are growing very rapidly. So 100% FDI is permitted through the automatic route for even ship construction. Next slide, please. Uh, these are, if you see on the screen, there's a called maritime industrial parks, warehousing. Gradually, earlier, the ships used to only carry cargo from one port to another port. And the ship owners, for example, MSC or Zim Lines or Costco, they were all carrying cargo from one port to another port. But now with the advent of, or rather enactment of Multimodal Transport Act of India 1993, all these ship owners have also extended their operations on land. For example, some goods have to travel from Ahmedabad. They will go by land to the nearest port, let's say Kandla, for example. And from Kandla, they'll be loaded onto the ship to China or Japan or US. So these shipping companies now pick up the cargo from Ahmedabad itself and transport it by road and then load onto the ships and send it across to foreign lands. So this is called multimodal transport, and 100% FDI is now available under the automatic route for all those who wish to have warehouse and multimodal, who are into warehouse and multimodal logistics. And of course, the final one is special economic zones, which are related to maritime activities. A lot of maritime boards across the country have started developing SEZs, especially for shipping related activities. Next slide. What are the challenges right now? The challenges are that one has to go through a couple of laws or acts which are presently in the current legal system, the statutes which are there. We need to take permissions and we need to have permissions through those. And what are those? The recent ones are the Major Port Trust Act of 21, Merchant Shipping Act, a little old, but is under revision and probably is discussed in the Parliament currently. Inland Vessels Act of 21, Coastal Regulation Act, and of course, Indian Ports Act. All these, Indian Port Act is also in the Parliament for revision. The next one, please. As you see, the title of the slide is Regulatory Complexities. Now, I don't say these are regulatory hindrances or encumbrances, they are complexities. That means one needs to take permission from these authorities, these shipping authorities, that is Ministry of Ports, Director General of Shipping, Indian Port Association, and MSDC. These are Maritime State Development Councils. So once we have permissions from these, and of course we are able to fulfill the requirements of the acts which we saw on the previous slide, it is possible to have foreign direct investments in India. The next slide. What are the current trends in India as well as globally? Everybody is now, this is a repetition of the slide, the first or the second slide we had. We are getting into autonomous ships with artificial intelligence being used for navigational purposes. You can see on the screen, companies like Rolls-Royce and Wärtsilä are developing ships without any human person or without any crew on board those ships. That means fully automatic ships. Blockchain is very fast coming into the logistics and supply chain and also into shipping. Big data, fleet management, and something which is actually posing a little bit of hindrance currently to bring in blockchain is the cyber security matters. But there are a huge number of companies which are very favorably working to overcome these problems, cyber security, because a huge ship in the middle of the ocean, if it is attacked, if there is a cyber attack, how do we handle that? So that is a minor glitch which we are facing. Once we are able to encounter that, we will have FDIs coming in that. What is the strategy which is being used? There is a paradigm shift. As you can see, people are saying now China was the center of shipping. Whatever China did, the entire world followed. But there is a thought process now which is there amongst the European and the American and the other global maritime countries that we need to have a China plus one strategy. That means try to shift the attention away from China. And because of that, there is a rise of huge, massive investments in India, Vietnam, Indonesia. And that's why we see a lot of development along the Indian coast. Next slide, please. Once again, multimodal, as I have already given the example of goods being transported from Ahmedabad to, let's say, China or Japan, we have multimodal logistics. They are coming up in a very fast way. The Director General of Shipping has been given the authority to grant the multimodal operators license, and there are close to 3,500 or 4,000 multimodal operators in India, and they are growing by the day. Only for the information of the attendees, India is now a $450 billion logistic industry, which is expected to reach close to $530 billion in next 5 years. That means by 2030. That is the pace at which the India's multimodal logistic industry is growing. The next slide, please. What are the future opportunities? Port-related infrastructure, there is an estimated budget of close to $10 billion we expect an FDI of close to $10 billion in this particular field, that is port and infrastructure development. For global shipbuilding hub, we expect around 5 billion. Green shipping, which is the latest thing which has come into the maritime industry. We expect an investment FDI of around $3 billion. Then maritime finance and leasing around $2 billion. A feather in our Indian shipping's cap is the latest announcement by our finance minister in the recently budget speech that maritime development fund of 25,000 crores is going to be created, which is going to assist the shipping and shipping related or shipping associated industries in India. Next slide, please. And well, that's the end of it. But just to be on the optimistic note, India is growing, and now suddenly the being the fastest growing economy, every single country in the world wants to have a slice of the Indian pie. They all want to trade with India, and the trade is only possible if they invest into Indian shipping. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Captain Pankaj, for those fascinating insights. I would now invite Mr. Swar to shed light on the dynamic role of FDI in the aviation sector, how it's soaring to new heights and shaping the industry's future. Over to you, Mr. Swar.
Thank you, Saloni. And it was really a nice sailing experience, Pankaj sir. We had a very good sailing experience, and of course, we witnessed some of the good statistics that the Indian government is following, and of course, the world is looking at us. So probably we are one of the trendsetters, whatever the sector it may be. So uh, whether it is a sailing now, we had a very good sailing experience. I would like everyone to now take a seat in a flight and let's take an view of clouds, how it looked like the world looked like from the sky. So I will be talking about aviation policies globally. Saroni, can you share the presentation?
Yes.
As usual, we are facing the technological challenges. Yes, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Swar Kansagra, and I will be discussing how global FDI in aviation sector is evolving, particularly from a legal and a strategic standpoint. Next, we will explore the surge in investment, the legal complexities that come with it, and how digital and sustainability trends are shaping the future. Let's dive in. In the recent years, the aviation industries has undergone significant transformation, largely driven by post-pandemic recovery efforts. This recovery is not just about bouncing back, it's about a strategic repositioning, with FDI playing a central role in modernizing infrastructure and enabling digital transformation. Today, our objective is to look at these trends through a legal lens, highlighting both the challenges and the opportunities. In 2024, global FDI flows reached around $1.4 trillion. Can you imagine? Showing steady growth and renewed investor confidence. The aviation sector, in particularly, witnessed major investments reshaping its global competitive landscape. One significant move was Ardian and the Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund acquiring around 37% in Heathrow Airport for around 2.3 billion euro, supporting expansion plans, including a potential third runway, an increase of 244 million euro from previous estimates. This investment undergoes long-term confidence in airport infrastructure. Another key development was Toyota's, which is one of the renowned automobile company, increased its investment for around $500 million in a Joby Aviation, bringing its total of around $894 million. This signals strong backing for electric air taxis, a technology set to redefine urban mobility. This significant influx of capital is not just a strategic, it signals a major shift in how the industry is positioning itself globally. Investors are increasingly confident in the market's potential, driving a transformation that affects everything from fleet modernization to airport infrastructure. Now, looking at an Asia overview, the Asia Pacific region continues to lead the global aviation growth with a projected annual increase of 4.5% from 2019 to 2040, surpassing 4 billion passengers. A key driver for this surge in India, which is adding 500 million passengers annually, growing at an impressive rate of 6%. Beyond Asia, the Middle East and the Eastern Europe are emerging as in critical growth engines. Factors such as deregulation and strategic alliances are fueling this expansion, making this region increasingly attractive for investment. Of course, policy liberalization and cross-border partnerships are accelerating connectivity, fostering competition, and enhancing market access. Deregulation and strategic alliances in these areas are not only opening up new markets, but are also creating robust regional hubs that are redefining global aviation. Several key drivers are behind this investment surge. Liberalization of markets have made it easier for new players to enter, while joint ventures are strengthening global connectivity and operational efficiencies. So these are one of the key investment drivers. I will dive more further into it by giving some highlights. Indigo Airlines, which is one of the prominent airlines in the India, partners with Frontier Airlines in 2013, transformed Frontier Airlines into successful ULCC through fleet standardization, network optimization, and ancillary revenue strategies. By 2016, it became one of the most efficient, cost-efficient US airlines. Lessons from this: cost management, flexible strategies drive success, and ancillary revenues boost profitability. The another example is Onex Corporation and WestJet. Acquisition fueled fleet expansion, service enhancement, and market growth, strengthening competitiveness. Lesson from this: long-term planning and a stakeholder management was very much crucial. Now, another case I would like to highlight is some of the cases that, apart from the above, are Cerberus and Air Canada, TPG and Mindwest Airlines, Carlyle and Denmark Aviations. This all took place in 2004 to 2012, where they used this FDI to grow their growth. Investment trends show a strong focus on digital transformation and green technologies, modernizing operations while reducing environmental impact. Moreover, there's a strong trend towards digital transformation and sustainability. Investments in green technology are becoming increasingly critical, laying the groundwork for long-term competitive advantages. Now, that being said, these are one of the prominent development in aviation sector. Let's just dive into legal challenges and regulatory complexities. With rising complex compliance costs are a growing challenge for an aviation industry. In 2024, airlines are expected to spend around, 2025, airlines are expected to spend around $700 million on carbon credits under CORSIA, increasing to a 1 billion in 2026. Additionally, the push of sustainability is driving up fuel cost within sustainable aviation fuel, that is SAF, adding around 3.8 billion in 2025, more than double to 1.7 billion in 2024. These are one of the key important aspects which tells us that sustainability is one of the key aspects in aviation. Beyond financial pressures, airlines must navigate complex multi-jurisdictional standards. Differing regulations across countries increase operational complexity, require careful compliance strategies. As the industry evolves, so must the legal frameworks. Adapting regulations to dynamic market conditions is a crucial for ensuring both growth and sustainability while maintaining the compliance with global standards. Now let's look at cross-border disputes. Cross-border arbitration continues to play a crucial role in resolving aviation disputes, with ICC arbitration seeing 890 new cases, one of the highest in history. This is one of the challenges that aviation industry is facing. Notably, recent cases highlight its significance. In 2024, Boeing's terminated around 4.2 billion deal with Embraer resulted in arbitration, leading to often $150 million payout to Embraer. Similarly, the Gulfstream versus Ocel disputes over $27.15 million aircraft deal, and arbitration upheld Gulfstream's claim, awarding $7 million in damages. Liability issues and contractual ambiguities can escalate quickly. This necessitates more sophisticated risk management practices and proactive legal strategies to manage potential dispute before they become costly. So this tells us that how strategies, legal strategies, as well as financial strategies are very much important when it comes to FDI in aviation. Now let's understand about digital transformation in aviation. The transformation is a major theme in aviation sector. A 2020 study by Airbus revealed that AI-powered predictive maintenance can put unplanned downtime by 35%, ensuring smoother operations. AI-driven route optimization has the potential to reduce fuel consumption by 5%, supporting sustainability efforts. Additionally, a 2022 study by CESAR jointly undertaking shown that AI-based air traffic management could increase airspace capacity by 10 to 15%, improving overall efficiency. A 2020 report of IATA, which is an international organization for aviation, highlighted that on the passenger side, IoT-enabled baggage tracking has already reduced the lost baggage incidence by 30%, significantly improving customer satisfaction. This isn't just about technology for technology's sake. It's about smarter route planning, more efficient maintenance, and ultimately a better passenger experience. The shift towards digitization is fundamentally altering how we operate and compete with the aviation sector. Now, this being said, let's focus on the sustainability and green investments. Sustainability is no more option. It's a competitive necessity. Investment in sustainable aviation fuels, for example, are rapidly scaling up with production reaching to 1 million tons in 2024, double the previous year. By 2025, This is expected to grow to 2.1 million tons, representing 0.47 of total budget jet fuel consumption, which still a small share. This marks significant progress towards the greener aviation industry. Regulatory pressures is a key driver. ICAO's stricter Croatia targets are pushing airlines to cut emissions, increasing both SAF adoptions and carbon credit cost. The regulatory shift is forcing the industry to accelerate its sustainability strategy. Sustainability is no longer just a compliance requirement, it is a competitive advantage. Airlines investing in green solutions are seeing stronger investor confidence and enhanced market position, providing that sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand. What are the future trends and projections? We have gone through the digitization, we have gone through the development of the aviation sector, we have noted the adoption of sustainability. Now let's just hop in how the future looks like. Looking ahead, the trends we are discussing today will only intensify. In October 2024, the FAA introduced new regulations for eVTOL aircraft, the first new aircraft category since helicopters in 1940s. This makes a major step towards integrating eVTOLs in commercial aviation, providing regulatory clarity for urban air mobility and future advancements in sustainable flights. As digital and green technologies mature, we expect FDI to continue its upgrade trajectory. This will require not just technological adoption, but also the evolution of legal frameworks to support new business models. In short, companies that can integrate agile legal practices with transparent trends will be positioned for long-term success. Now, resilience is very much important. Resilience in aviation increasingly linked to an agile level legal strategies. By incorporating flexible legal clauses and engaging in proactive risk assessments, companies can build a robust framework that adapts to regulatory changes. This approach can not only minimize disruptions but also position firms to take advantage of new opportunities, which is essential capability in today's volatile market. Some of the case studies that I would like to highlight. Let me share a brief case studies. In November 2024, a key legal ruling in Caraman restructure Ingeniera, e-service technios specialist LDA versus Antonio Giocatete Leptos Quinan highlighted the importance of proactive contract restructuring. The leaser successfully secured a grounding order from a Dubai International Financial Center courts to address regulatory risk stemming from a leasing breach. This case underscores the value of agile legal strategies. By incorporating flexible jurisdiction clauses and scenario planning, companies can safeguard their interests, ensuring swift transformation of enforcement of right and compliance with evolving regulations. Ultimately, such proactive measures enhance operational agility and investor confidence in an increasing complex legal landscape. Actionable insights for today's investor. Before we wrap up, I would like to leave out with you some actionable insights. First, reassess and update your legal strategies to incorporate more flexible and proactive risk management. Second, invest in digital tools, not just for efficient gains, but also to stay ahead in competitive market. And finally, commit to a sustainability as they will be critical differentiator in coming years. These actions will help you capitalize on the evolving trends as we discussed. As a call to action, I encourage you to ask how can our legal frameworks be more agile to adapt to rapid market changes? Engage with your teams and review your current risk management strategies. Also explore strategic partnerships that not only embrace digital transformation but also drive green initiatives. This proactive approach is essential to staying competitive in a rapidly growing landscape. In conclusion, we have seen that FDI's aviation is surging, propelling by a rapid digital transformation and green aviation investments. Legal innovation is no longer a back office function, it's a strategic asset that can transform challenges into opportunities. I encourage you to embrace agile legal practices to ensure your organization remains competitive and resilient. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to your discussion later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swar. It was a great flight and a very insightful flight. Thank you very much for the insight, sharing the insight with us. Now let's move on to the Q&A session. Uh, We have our first question for Captain Pankaj. So the question is, with the rise of an e-commerce and global trade, India's maritime ports are becoming more crucial. However, the sector still faces challenges like congestion and slow adoption of automation. So, how can FDI help modernize these ports, and what legal adjustment are needed to support this transformation?
Uh, Thank you. This is a really excellent question. And I think I did touch upon it in my presentation that government has opened up 100% automatic FDI route for anybody who wishes to invest in the port development projects or projects associated with shipping or maritime industry. There are a lot of investments, FDIs in the multimodal logistics and supply chain industry, and this is happening because of people investing in the e-commerce, people investing in industries which assist shipping and maritime or multimodal transportation with blockchain technology. And that is very fast coming in. And once that happens, we'll find that the logistic cost in India, which is currently reigning at around 11%, will come down to around 7 to 8%. So from 14, we have already come down to 11%. And the government, with its latest incentives of opening up FDI, 100% FDI, intends to bring it further down to around 7 to 8%.
Okay. Our next question is for Mr. Swar. The question addresses as that how can a foreign investor leverage digital transformation in an aviation industry, particularly with technologies like big data, AI, and blockchain to drive the growth? Additionally, the question is that what legal frameworks, both globally and specifically India, should investor consider to ensure compliance, data privacy, and security?
That's a very interesting question, I guess. I believe foreign investors can capitalize on digital transformations in aviation by investing in AI-driven flight management, predictive maintenance, and blockchain for secure transactions like ticketing and baggage tracking, which I already mentioned in my presentation. These technologies can enhance efficiency and transparency. However, investors must navigate legal frameworks such as GDPR in Europe for data privacy and cybersecurity regulations for IoT-enabled systems. In India, compliance with local data protection laws as well as intellectual property protections for innovation in AI blockchain is critical to ensure long-term security and safeguarding investments.
Okay, the question has been addressed well. Considering the shortage of time, we'll address one more question. The question is that what are the main barriers of foreign direct investment in your respective sectors, and how can government address these barriers to encourage investors? I think both our expert can answer this question.
So, should I go ahead? Because
Yes, yes,
would you
please.
like to sail first or fly first? Well, we'll leave it to the moderator to answer that. But anyway, I will take the advantage of that.
We
Oh,
will.
yeah, well, better to sail first. I'm a sailor, so I would prefer that everybody sails first. Very well. But interesting question. Maritime sector, the barriers which we may encounter as far as the FDI is concerned is the couple of acts which we have in India. Most of the acts have already been updated. There are just one or two acts which are left for updating, and they will be as per the latest trends worldwide. They are already in the parliament. They are being discussed. Probably within few months, we'll have all the acts related to shipping, which will be in force. And not only that, the government has made some very special and remarkable efforts in harmonizing all those acts and regulations, not only within India, but also to have it in harmony with the laws abroad, with the foreign countries, with our trading partners. And that will happen very soon. So that is a very, very big advantage and a very encouraging development which has happened. So, hand over to Swar now.
We
Thank
can
you.
fly now.
Yes, of course. So, of course, in the aviation sector, the key remains the same. Yes, of course, the policy challenges. The only addition that I have is recently the Aircraft Act was amended, and we have the new act now. So, yes, of course, we can say that the Indian government is taking proactive steps to reduce the complexities which are being issued and which are being faced by the FDI sector in aviation. Specifically, what government can do is they can incentivize the financial investments. They can promote, Mr. Pankaj said, they can promote 100% FDIs, and they can also we have as part of that vision, we also have Gift City in Force in Gandhinagar, which specifically has frameworks for maritime and aviation sector, which of course shows the keen interest of the government of India to focus on FDI in aviation as well as maritime. Thank you.
So, as we conclude today's session, which was very much insightful, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to our esteemed speakers for their time, insights, and valuable perspective. Your expertise has shed light on complexities of FDI in aviation and maritime and provided a roadmap for navigating future trends and legal challenges. A special thank you to Quadrant Legal, our co-organizer, for their support and collaboration in making this webinar a success. We also extend our gratitude to our supporters, Women Indian Chambers and Commerce and Industries, Aviation Council, and India Shipping News, whose contribution have been invaluable in bringing this event to life. For update on our upcoming webinar, the link has been provided in Q&A session. To stay connected with us for more updates and insights and upcoming webinars, please join our group. We would also inform you to mark your calendars for our next webinar, which is on legal and regulatory landscape of urban air mobility and challenges, opportunities for drones and air taxis in India and beyond. The registration link will also be provided in our WhatsApp group. The today's recording session will also be uploaded on our YouTube channel, and the channel link is also in the Q&A session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful evening. Thank you, our speakers, for your insightful thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, and wish everybody a fantastic weekend.